So we will send out the presentation, and also we will send out a follow-up email that has all of our contact information too. So on the agenda today is firsthand the platform for career advancement and review of resources, our tips for mentors, how to create a dynamic profile, and tips for mentees, ways to intentionally mentor. And right now we're actually going to start with a couple of polls. And the first poll is, what is your NU affiliation? And I'm not sure if Jasmine, you can launch that poll. Great. So we're wondering how you're connected to National University. Jasmine, is the poll launched? I can't see it on my end.
Oh, yes, it is. It looks like we just have 2 more people to fill it out if
Okay.
you're here with us. But it looks like we have majority students so far, 72%.
Awesome. And then do we have some alums as well, or mostly students?
Yeah, we have 28% alum. It looks like we have 7 here in the little Zoom room. I was gonna say here in the building, but we're all in different buildings, but the virtual building.
I love
And I'll
that.
go ahead and end and show everyone the results. But yeah, so you're in good company with your NU fam, students and alum.
Well, welcome, folks. Thanks for joining us, and I love that there's a lot of us here today. So on the agenda, firsthand, the platform for career advancement, review of resources. That's where we're going to start. And I will actually let Heather take over, and I think there's another poll regarding firsthand.
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to ask you to give some feedback here one more time. How familiar are you with the NU Mentoring Network platform? And I promise you get to stay for the presentation no matter what your answer is. It is perfectly acceptable if you've never seen it before, if you've logged in, if you've created your profile, if you are familiar. Maybe you're already a mentor, mentee, or both. All answers are acceptable. So it looks like we have many have answered already, and most of you have never explored the platform. So that's fantastic. You're in the right place. I'm glad that you're here. A couple of you have created a profile, and that's as far as you've gotten. So we're going to give you some great tips today on both sides, whether you're looking to join as a mentor or as a mentee. And as the rest of you are finishing answering there, I do want to give you the heads up. You are eligible to join the NU Mentoring Network as a mentor and as a mentee. I think sometimes we underestimate the value of our own experience, and I want to empower you that you have every right to be mentored, but you also have your own life experience, work experience, career experience to share with others. So really look at how you might be able to step into that and help others too. And we're going to go through some tips, general usage first, some tips for mentors, and then tips for mentees. But I encourage you to join us both because I think your experience would be valuable. All right, so looks like, yeah, that's as far as we've gotten. No, some of us have never explored and some have created a profile and that's all. So we are in a good place. Okay, let's start on this slide here. First of all, the NU Mentoring Network is a platform that will help you with career advancement, with connecting to a mentor, with getting guidance for your career. And a lot of that can be done directly with a mentor, sure, by matching with someone through the platform and utilizing the algorithm that's already built in. But there are quite a few resources in the platform that will help you to build your career and maybe direct your career in a new direction without ever even connecting with a mentor. So if you're saying like, yeah, I'd like to make some updates with my career, I have some ideas for where I'd like to head, but I'm not ready to talk to anybody yet. I get that. Okay. I encourage you to get into the platform anyway, click around, and I'm going to show you some of these spaces that can be helpful for that process. So, Patricia, let's go to the next slide. This will give you a quick preview of the Mentoring Network platform. This is one of the pages that gives rankings. It gives some information about different professions and industries. But I think what would be most helpful at this point is if we actually go live to the platform itself. So let me see if I can share. All right, this should come up shortly. Does everyone see my browser logged in? Awesome. Okay, so this is what it will look like when you log into the NU Mentoring Network. I've already created a profile, obviously. So I'm going to go through first just sort of the functionality and some of the places I recommend you explore. So on the left-hand side, you'll see there's these tabs that'll give you good guidance. And we're going to start first on careers. This will likely look familiar because this is the screenshot you just saw. And so you'll see there's featured rankings for different industries across here, different law firms, et cetera. And these can be really helpful if you already have a defined path, right? Like, I'm going to go into banking. It's easy to click here under, the banking rankings to get that information. There's also information on individual companies. So if you click in here, it'll show you top ranked companies. Let's say you're going to go financial. We're going to click on Goldman Sachs. Okay. And this page is incredibly helpful for you as you consider different companies you could work for. There's general information about the company, their size, whether they're public or private, where they're located. It also gives direct links to their career site and their news site. So obviously, a career site is helpful when you're applying. The news site might be helpful as you prepare for an interview, for example. It'll give you some information that the Vault has included, company info, rankings off to the right. This might be a good one. #1 most prestigious banking firm. So it's a good lead. But I really like this information as you scroll down because these are quotes from those who work there or those who have. And so, for example, if you've applied and let's say have an interview scheduled with Goldman Sachs, you're going to want to come down here and look through where it says hiring process, or even click the next tab that has some example interview questions. This can be really helpful because people are saying these are the things they're actually going to ask you. So why not prepare your answer and kind of anticipate that ahead of time? So that can be really helpful, sort of insight into these companies. So again, that's when we click here under careers and then under companies. The other one I want to show you is under professions. So if you say, I know I want to work in finance, but I don't actually know any more than that. I just hear finance is a good place to make money. There's lots of different careers that fall under finance, right? And one that I've always kind of wondered about is actuaries. Like, what does an actuary actually do? What does that mean? So you can come in here. There's a short video about it. There's a summary. It also gives you some information. That's an excellent rating in terms of employment prospects. The minimum education is just a bachelor's degree, so that's a great place to start. Now, with a median salary at 102, I feel like it's a really, really great place to start. So this can give you some insight. It'll also show you what skills you might need, what personality traits might work well for this role. And so again, this is a way to sort of explore the different professions that are out there. It might help you in narrowing down your career path. The other two up here are industries, which again, if say you've heard, biotech is the place to be, click in on biotech and explore the various options that exist within that industry. There's always going to be a wide variety. Internships is another tab that I'm not sure everyone knows is in here. You can actually click in under internships and find relevant and current internships available now. So let's say you want to work at Coca-Cola. You can log in and see, what are their internship programs. They say it's most prestigious. You can find out about the company, about their program, et cetera. In this case, they accept college freshmen. So, basically once you're in the university and studying, you'd be eligible for their internships. So it can give you some good leads and good information to get you started. Okay, we're going to go to the library next. Again, lots of resources and information in here. You can explore careers, which we just did. You'll notice in the platform, some of this information is in several places. So don't worry if this looks familiar. It'll link you back to some of the same places. But if you click Get the Job, there's a couple of different areas you can explore, right? If you want tips for your job search, for your resume, networking, interviewing, career readiness, etc. Put in the chat which one you want to see. Whichever answer I see first is the one we're going to click on. So where would you like me to click here? Who wants help with resumes, networking? Oh, interviewing came up first. Daniel was ready. So let's click there and see. So warning signs to watch out during the interview process, strategies for turning those rejections into opportunities. I love the optimism on that. How to negotiate your salary once you have that job offer. And then things to think about maybe before you accept the offer. There's lots of great tips in here. Some on this page, you're going to see a lot of articles. So these would be, narrative and sort of text things to read. You'll also see similar things here under Thrive at Work. So let's say, for example, we're worried about changing jobs. You can click in under changing jobs and they have, for example, 5 great resume tips for job hoppers. Maybe that's just been the situation. You've had jobs for shorter periods of time. So how do you present that on the resume? There's a lot of answers in here. And this can be a really good prep for getting your resume ready before you're speaking with a mentor, right? To make sure that you've addressed these questions and then can say, I've specifically thought about this one issue. How do you think that comes across on the resume? They'll be able to give you insight on that. The next thing I want to show you, in case you are not a text article kind of person, I get that, there's also a video library and a lot of the same topics are covered there too. So let's click on video library and you'll see these are available to everyone who has a profile on this platform. So if you want help with writing your LinkedIn summary, if you have questions about consulting careers, if you want to master an interview, what to wear to the interview, etc. These videos are available to you, and that might help. Again, we like to address all the learning styles, so that is there. The last one I want to show you here is community. Now, once you've created a profile on the platform, and we're going to show you some tips for that shortly, you can join a community or multiple communities. We recommend doing this for several reasons. First of all, it can be helpful to connect with those in your same career area. Like, for example, if you are a student in the Stanford College of Education, it might be great to connect with others who are studying similar topics. You can also connect by geographical area. There's a few in here that are request to join. Those are ones that have restricted access because it is a program that's requires approval. But for example, I am in the Southern California Alumni group. So when you click in, you can see everyone in this group, and you can actually directly book a meeting with these people. So if it's helpful for you to find somebody in your area, this might be a good way to go about it. And then there's also at the top, there's conversation icebreaker type questions you can participate in as well. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation if you don't mind. I will hit stop. And Patricia, while you load that, Giovanni says, is there a way to save them as favorites, or do we just use the standard browser favorite? I'm guessing you mean to favorite the website. You would use your browser, and it's the same login every time. So we'll make sure that you get that link. Okay. Patricia, did we have a poll on this one?
I think we do. Let's see. Polls. Yes, we do. I will launch the third poll.
Okay.
Mentors.
So mentors. For those of you who are thinking of signing up as a mentor, how much time do you think you can volunteer? You can spend about 5 minutes. You've got 10 minutes. Maybe you can give 15, 20 minutes or more. You can do 20 minutes or more about once a month. You can go above and beyond and be available at all hours of the day and night. No, I'm kidding. We would never ask that of you. But part of why we're asking this question is because you have the power to set constraints on how often you want to mentor and how much time you want to give in each of those sessions. So this is sort of your opportunity to think, okay, I'm going to sign up as a mentor. How available do I want to be? And we want you to be thoughtful about that. We don't want you to burn out on this process. So if you really can allocate 10 minutes to supporting a mentee in a month, that's great. 10 minutes is fantastic. And those 10 minutes of conversation with you could change the career path for your mentee. So don't hold off on creating a profile simply if your time is limited. We get it. We're in the same boat. But those 10 minutes can still be impactful. Looks like we've got a couple people who can give actually 15, 20 or more. So you guys would be fantastic mentors. We'd love to get you in the platform. A few of you have not participated yet. So I will actually leave that up and I'm going to show the slide here as well. So can everybody still see the slide? Tips for mentors? Fantastic. Okay. A couple of tips when you're doing your profile. You want to make sure you add a picture. The greatest part about adding a picture is you look like a real person who wants to help. And it does not have to be super complicated to do this picture. If you have a simple headshot saved, that will work. If you want to do something with, simple, clean, clear lighting, shoulders and up, similar to a passport style photo, that'll work well. But it is more likely that people will reach out to you as a mentor if you have a picture on your profile. So we do recommend that. Be specific with your time and be clear about what things you'd like to help others with. So if resumes are not your thing, don't check that box, right? If you'd rather talk about the job search process or give general leadership advice, you can set that criteria in that section. And then that way, when mentees are looking at your profile, they know what you're willing to help with. Give a brief bio. If you have a LinkedIn profile, this is all going to start looking very familiar, right? You already have all of these pieces. So feel free to copy paste that over. Keep it simple. I wouldn't look at summarizing your entire career, but more a sentence or two of what are you all about, right? Give it to us in a similar, simple format. Stanley says he can't find the poll and it's not showing up on his screen. I'm sorry, Stanley. I think we ended it. But the main point was just to think about how much time you can give. And you'll have the opportunity to set that criteria when you set up your profile as a mentor. So no need to worry on that. And then as you can see on the side there, it'll show how many consultations you've completed, if you've asked for consultations as well, what your average response time is. And it will also show you as not available to book if, say, you set the criteria for I can only do one session per month and you've done that one session, then it will show that you're not available. So that does give you a little bit of power and control over your timing. Okay, I think that was all for my section. Is that right? Or did I have anything else here, Patricia?
I think that was it. Great job.
Oh, one quick thing here. We talked about all of these sort of around establish your time commitment, be timely when you respond to mentees. There's nothing worse than like putting your neck out there to say, would you please help me? And then that person doesn't respond. So even if you're not available, please, be sure to respond on that. When you do connect with the mentee, give honest but really kind feedback. Don't err on the side of just being nice. If there are things they can improve on the resume or should put out about their experience, make sure that you're clear on that because that will help them. And then be consistent, communicative, be proactive, participate, and then hopefully it all goes well from there. All right, I'm all set. I think that tees up Jasmine. She's going to share with you a little bit about how to be a strong mentee.
Yeah, hi folks. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the mentee side. Obviously, even as a mentee, this isn't a passive role if you really want to get, a lot out of that relationship. So I'm going to help you not only find the right mentor, but then how do you set up a successful relationship? So one of the great things about Newman, as we talked about with creating a profile, you can then, as a mentee, look at these profiles and really dissect who will be the best fit for you. So paying attention to looking at your close matches. This is one of the really great features that Newman has. When you first sign up, you get to put in all of your interests and then it'll match you with folks that they think you would be, you would connect with. So for example, this person, they had an 85% match. So that might be a good person to reach out to. Also, looking at their profile to see if there's an overlap in interest. So if you're also interested in student engagement, co-curriculars, high impact practices, again, maybe this is someone I would like to reach out to. And also similar to what Heather mentioned with the response time, it's also good to pay attention to that as a mentee, to get a sense of whether or not you'll get a response from this person super quickly. Depending on the timeline of when you're looking for a mentor, maybe a longer wait time is okay, or maybe you want to talk to someone tomorrow. So you want to see, how quickly they'll respond. And also you can see how many consults they've already given. So if you're looking for someone really experienced, you can see how many consults they've given. And you can also see reviews as well. So after people meet with the consultations, they can also give a rating. So there's just a lot of great information right here on the platform for you to discern who will be best fit for you. And I think we can move on to the next slide. And on this slide, we can launch the next poll if that's ready to go up. And I'll talk a little bit as that's launching. So now getting into how to establish a successful relationship. One of the big things here is getting into the mindset of really dissecting what you want out of this relationship. So the poll here is sort of a little practice in getting into that goal setting mindset. So what benefits of having a mentor are super important to you? It looks like right now we have a pretty diverse spread of responses. So I think the majority, I think it's a three-way tie. Oh, it's going up. It looks like right now folks are really interested in having a guide with experience, but also that industry insider knowledge, a safe space to ask questions, and that conversion of a mentor into an advocate. So again, really thinking about when you want to get into these mentoring relationships, what's most important for me to get out of that, and who can I find that might give me that knowledge that, I'm looking for. So going into this first point here, you want to outline your goals. So again, your goal might be, I'm looking to have a guide with experience, or I'm looking to clarify my goals, whether that be professional or personal. And also it's really important to establish a realistic timeline and a method to track your progress. So think, SMART goals, they have to be measurable, have a certain time frame. And again, tracking that progress is also really important and something you can do within the mentoring relationship as you meet with your mentor. Next up, you really want to develop a recurring schedule and agenda for meetings with your mentor. Again, doing that research and getting ahead is really important. And again, these relationships, you sort of get out of them a lot of the times what you put into them. So don't be passive in this role, really do your work and be active in that. Also, don't be afraid to give your mentor feedback on what's working and what isn't. The beautiful thing about these relationships is that they're, reciprocal. Like you're learning a lot from them, but they're also learning a lot from you. And it's only, going to be beneficial to you to let them know, what's working and what isn't. And similar to what we said for the mentors, you also want to be consistent, proactive, and communicative. But yeah, I feel like the best first step when thinking about this is really reflection and knowing yourself going into the relationship and then helping that drive. And I think we're ready for the next slide. Cool. So thankfully, you don't have to do this alone. There's a lot of guides out there in terms of helping you think through your goals, think through the process and what you want to get out there. So one of the ones we found that I think is really great for folks is done by Yale University. And they developed this comprehensive PDF packet that really outlines every step of the way for building what they call a MAP, a mentoring action plan. So there's whole, guides out there for this kind of thing. And we have a little sneak peek here on the slide with a little graphic that just sort of walks you through some of the steps that might be helpful for you when thinking through your mentoring relationship. So it says, identifying your professional goals and aspirations, then determining your strengths and development needs, planning specific steps for your professional growth. They call it manager, but in this case, we can say mentor. Meet with your mentor to discuss and refine your plan and then act on your plan. So it's really about, again, that reflection, then putting that reflection into a plan and then taking action on that plan. And we will be providing that link to you in the follow-up. So yeah, but that was everything for my section.
Actually, I think before we get into the other alumni events, we have one last poll on why mentor others. So we'll go ahead and launch that one.
And while that's on, I know we had a question in the chat, and I want to make sure that we reiterate this point that when you sign up for the firsthand platform for the NU Mentoring Network, you can actually sign up as a mentor and a mentee. And we recommend that you do both. A majority of our students are, adult students. They're already working in one career. Maybe they're going back to school to make a career shift, but they have experience in the career that they're in now. And so we encourage you to be an expert, be a mentor on that career, even if you're looking for advice for your next step. So you do have that option. We encourage you to do both. Wow, look at that.
All right, sorry, there's like a helicopter right over me. I'm gonna end the poll. So really good responses. All of these are great reasons to mentor others. One of the things that I think is helpful is in the platform, there's a messaging feature. And so the potential mentee can actually chat or kind of email the mentor and deliver resumes and other forms of collateral to them for review before you actually meet, which is kind of a larger time saver. And also some of the times that I know that folks have tried to meet with me don't work for me. So I can send them my actual calendar also, or you can coordinate that. The other thing that's important to note is that there is a level of anonymity that protects both the mentor and the mentee, where the consultation that is face-to-face, if you will, virtually, happens on that platform. So you don't have to give out a personal, Zoom room or your personal email information. The platform itself is the intermediary between both of the parties. So I think until folks are more comfortable, really getting to know somebody, the platform acts as that buffer, which is really nice as well. So I think that's helpful too. And what we'll do is we will also send all of these resources to you and a mini guide on how to create your profile online. But it's pretty easy. And as Heather said, you can, create a profile as a mentor, mentee, or both. And just because, I know for students, sometimes you think, oh, I need a mentor. I don't need to really mentor others. Not true. If you're in a grad program, please do consider being a mentor because you've already done undergrad. So you have, a lot to give to new folks at National University who are undergrads. If you're, first generation student, there's a lot of folks who would love that connection. If you're a working parent, there's a lot of folks that would love that connection as well. So there's a lot of assets that you have. So do consider being a mentor as well. And let's see, going to the next slide. We do have a couple of other events coming down the pipe that we're going to plug now before we get to Q&A. Well, we have you here, and that's our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration coming up on October 9. Our next NU speaker series, Rising Threats, Future Defenses, Protecting Your Personal Networks. This is going to be amazing because it's featuring one of the experts in cyber. And he'll go into, protecting your kids from cyber threats, your networks, your, social media, etc. And you can actually ask questions. So it's a pretty dynamic talk. On October 17, we'll have our first gen student panel through our student org, Omega NU. We'll have our Alumni Association meeting open to students and alumni on October 19. On October 23rd at 5:30, we have our chapter chat, which is kind of a, very chill conversation that we have with folks just to make connections and make, help folks meet each other. And then on October 26th, we'll have our virtual Halloween party with games, costume contests, and prizes. So we hope to see you there. And by the way, it might look a little weird, but this is the website for the mentoring network. It's actually called Firsthand. So NUS will be National University System, firsthand.co. So just so you know, so if it looks unfamiliar, that's what it is actually. So do folks have Q&A? We can take some in the chat, or we can take some, I'll stop share for a second, or we could take some via raised hands. Some folks are saying that they could definitely be a mentor or mentee. Definitely. So, feel free to sign up as both. Absolutely. And I think that would be a great service for others. Any other questions? Will we be emailing the guide? Yes, we can email a little tutorial step by step. It's pretty simple. You just put in it always starts with the email and a name, password, and then you can kind of take it from there. We will put in that the website and the link for Firsthand, but I think Jasmine actually put it in the chat earlier, but we'll put this nus.firsthand.co in the chat as well. And that will lead you to the site to create your account. And keep in mind, that's a service that we offer through the NU Alumni Association. There it is. Thanks, Jasmine. And that'll be helpful. And we will send out a follow-up email to everybody on this call based on the emails that you registered with for this webinar. So we should be all set. Any other questions? Oh, there's a couple. I've seen handshake service, not sure how this works with NU mentoring, or is it a replacement? It is not a replacement, it's a complement to handshake. So a lot of the features are very similar, but this one offers mentoring specifically, whereas the handshake is more of a job platform. Let's see. For someone who wishes not to have a LinkedIn account, can I still be a mentee? Absolutely. These are two separate platforms. You can use email and password. Okay, any other questions? All right, so somebody keeps trying to create a profile but gets an error message. So we can meet offline for sure and figure out a way to troubleshoot with you. Okay. All right. Are there any networking events? Yes, we are planning to have a couple more as well throughout the year. So please stay tuned. We have several online events planned, and then we also have some in-person ones as well. Daniel asks if we can use the personal email address instead of NU. Yes, you can use any email address you want. Okay, Stanley, yay, just completed his profile. Love that. Super quickly, good job. Yay, in person. Yes. Okay, what would be the next steps to register as a mentor or mentee? Creation of the profile. Do you need 2 different profiles? I don't believe so, Heather.
No, you do not need 2 different profiles. So it is super simple, as I'm sure Stanley can attest. And those of you, if you are having any issues signing up, please feel free to email us. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out, and we'll hop on a call and figure out what the issue is and take care of it from there.
For sure.
Let's see, Diane, glad you could join us. How involved do you suggest we be in the mentee program if you're not quite ready to be matched up with a mentor? Jasmine, I'm going to give that one to you. What do you recommend for mentees and maybe don't want to match with a mentor yet?
Yeah, I think a great step with that is to join some of the communities that Heather talked about. That way you can get to know some folks in a more, smaller group, a more intimate setting. And you can also, in those communities, you can pose questions to the community. So you can maybe, dip your toe into reaching out for questions and things like that. And then eventually you might feel comfortable direct messaging someone and, asking them to be your mentor.
other questions? Okay. Well, I want to give folks 2 ways to contact us as well going forward. Some of you might be on your phones. If not, then you could scan this QR code to contact Alumni and this QR code to contact CSEA. So feel free to contact us. These are our link trees, so you will get our social media accounts, our email, and also our websites. CSEA is the Center for Student Engagement and Activities. And Dr. Dugan is asking, in creating my profile, I got the following question: select industries to customize your experience. There isn't one to match for me. You could either go to the closest one, or I believe, I don't know if it's an optional category, you can skip it potentially, or go to the closest industry. Okay, is this meeting for people who want to serve as mentors or for those who are mentees? Both. Once signed up and start, were we able to change the amount of time of availability? Yes. So you can customize it and change it as you go, by the way. So it's not static. You can go in and change your profile anytime and make it more customizable. All right. I think, are there more questions that we can answer? Okay, we will stop recording.